Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was an African-American civil rights activist who changed and sped up the process to achieve equal rights between people of color and white people. His upbringing, his accomplishments, and his impact on society made him a prominent, respected member of society that still affects the people's lives of today. MLK was born on January 15th in 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. He was born to his father, Martin Luther King Sr., and his mother, Alberta Williams King. He had an older brother, A.D. King, and a younger sister, Christine King Ferris, so he was the middle child. MLK met his wife in college and later married Coretta Scott on her parents' front lawn and had 4 children with her. Martin Luther King III, Yolanda King, Bernice King, and Dexter King. Yolanda King unfortunately passed, but all his other children are still alive and still fighting for African American rights today. King was known for many accomplishments throughout his career before he passed. One of his biggest accomplishments was the Montgomery bus boycott, which was the biggest boycott that has ever hit the country. On December 1st, Rosa Parks was arrested for not giving up her seat on the bus. This led to Martin Luther King Jr. and groups of other people getting together and deciding to do a boycott, which was led by King. It lasted 385 days. He was arrested, which concluded with the United States District Court ruling in Browder v. Gale that segregation was ended on all Montgomery public buses. This was a big step in fighting racism, and this showed that boycotting does make a difference when African Americans get together and want to make a change. Another thing that Martin Luther King Jr. was known for was founding the Southern Christian Leadership Council, SCLC, in 1957. He made sure he would not publicly endorse political parties and candidates because this council showed that people were getting together to fight racism, and they would find ways to help defeat racism. So publicly endorsing a candidate may result other people who don't believe in that candidate to stop supporting the SCLC. One of his biggest accomplishments in his life was the March on Washington, where he performed his I Have a Dream speech in front of millions of Americans, black and white and colored. This was not only a step in the future for African Americans because of this heart-wrenching speech, but it was also because it showed that African Americans were competent and they understood what racism was, and they were going to make a change for it. Unfortunately, Martin Luther King Jr. passed away in Tennessee on April 4th, 1963, because he was shot through a window. This caused race riots throughout the country in major cities such as Boston, Atlanta, all these, New York, all these cities. Martin Luther King Jr. is known for his keeping the precedent of non-violence protests, which means that we don't have to fight physically to get what we want. We can do it through our actions that don't bring harm to other people. Many cities did end up changing their names to MLK's name in a way, whether it was streets or highways or even stores. They had something along the lines of King or Luther or Martin Highway, things like this. Martin Luther King Jr. was not only a symbol of equality, but also a very competent man who used logic and faith to express his opinions, which changed the lives of millions of people. Thank you. And could I have my 2 audiences do a peace sign? Yep. Okay, we're good.